Okay girls, it's the 2nd of November. It's about 17 degrees outside. So I'm having a quick peek, maybe one of the last before winter. It's a little bit windy today. I'm making sure I've got everything ready before I open up. I've done a little smoke, not a lot, and I've got the smoker handy in case I need it. So first thing is I want to see how many frames the bees are occupying. Now I can see through the plastic a little bit that it's they're on most of them. There's 1 or 2 frames at the edge. They're obviously not, and it's not super crowded, but it's not too bad. I want to have a quick check of their reserves. When it's winter, sometimes it's quite a good idea not to necessarily rip off the plastic, exposing them as much as possible. Okay, this outside frame is completely, it's beautiful, but it's completely empty of reserves. So I'm actually going to replace it with one which I've got extra from another hive. So that means already, and I can see looking down that there is honey on the next frame over, so I'm not leaving an empty frame between that one and the other one. Now I'd say if the bees are occupying less than 6 frames, that you should put a partition in. It depends a lot on what those empty frames are looking like. Now if they're like this, which is reasonably useless to them at the moment, then you can replace it with a partition or a honey frame. So I happen to have some, luckily, from some other hives which were very strong. So looking across, the next one does have some honey on it, but not completely filled. The next one over does have quite a bit. To me, this one's almost as strong. I'm going to put that one in. I'll give them this one. Okay, so I won't partition this one. It's not too bad. But they will need some candy, which is so let me show you how that's done. First of all, we need to put the spacer on. I'm just going to close up quickly so as not to let out extra heat while I get the candy, and I'll show you how it's done. So I should have been organised to have that already done. Okay, so this is the type of candy that I use. I mean candy. I mean, what's candy? Candy is sugar. Okay, this brand is Fonda, and I find it not bad. So the idea is that you should, when you buy it, leave it in the house for a couple of days. Make sure it's room temperature. You do not want to put a freezing cold block on top of your hive. So make sure it's a good 25 degrees. It should feel soft, like when you press it, you should be able to move it around. That means it's at the right temperature. If it feels like a hard block that you can't move, then it's too cold, and that will, if you put that on top of a hive, it's like putting a block of ice on, which is not what they need. Okay, so I've cut a little hole, as you can see, in the top of that, and I'm going to put that hole on the hole, match it up with the hole there. Now I don't want to squash any bees when I put it on top, so I give them a good smoke from the top to make them go down. And if there's any any extras that aren't going to go down that hole, we can also just brush them away, making sure they're not going to get... Go on you, down you get. You don't want to get squashed, believe me. There you go. So we don't want to see any bees on top there when we put that candy face down. Okay, we haven't got it out, just got a couple little girls here that are going to get trapped if they stay there. Okay, so that's all good. We can actually, even if you've got an old blanket, bits of old blanket, you can fill in there so that this isn't an empty space. I have got some, I forgot them at home, so I'll put that next time I visit. So there we go, and this one's got a pretty, it's an old exercise mat. It's not fabulous, it's the minimum, I think. But what something else that you might find if you've got any old building supplies, or you want to go and find, this is a piece of styrofoam. I put that on top of the roof and I overhang it a little bit, which means it's a little bit of a rain shelter as well for the bees. So when it is raining, the rain isn't falling on their landing board. It means they can even get a bit of fresh air if it's drizzling a little bit. So it's a bit of an extra protection for the heat because it's on top, but also a little bit of rain protection. So that's a bit of styrofoam, and then of course you know, a nice rock or anything like that on top, so if it's windy it's not going to fly away. Okay, so that hive is ready for winter, and that's what you need to do with yours. Now I didn't show you putting a partition in for that one. I'll see if I've got another hive to show you.